into The Real Tea with T3. I'm going to be your host, Tisha Harris. I'm the team leader of Texas Trio Team. And today we're going to jam pack it with all kinds of inspiration. And so as we go around, who are you? What keeps you busy?
I'm Deanna Kennesaw, and I'm a team member of the Texas Trio Team. Happy to be here.
Yes. And so thank you so much for joining us, but tell everybody who you are and what keeps you busy these days.
Well, my name is Kyle Rogers. I work with Cutco mainly as my full-time gig. And yeah, that keeps me out of trouble most days. So most days.
So for those that may not know, what specifically is Cutco?
Yeah. So for those that aren't familiar, American made high-end kitchen company. We're most known for the knives, but we actually make full spectrum gadgets, cookware, flatware, everything that doesn't plug in pretty much for the kitchen. And then I work a lot with business owners specifically because we can custom engrave the products. And because we're such a high end product that is forever guaranteed American made, people love giving it as gifts to show appreciation, right? Because it's not only something that is high end, but it's practical. And people will actually use it, almost daily, which is really cool. It's kind of like the perfect, I don't know the right word for that, but the perfect combination, I guess, yeah.
So what was the moment in your life that led you to get into Cutco sales?
Honestly, I just needed to pay rent while I was living in College Station, going to school at A&M, Gig of Maggie's. And yeah, that was how I started. And before I was working here, I was working at Chipotle. I was a manager over there, doing my thing. And yeah, started doing this and it just made the most money I ever had in 2 weeks at the time, like paid my rent. And I was like, I think I'll keep doing this for a little bit longer. And here I am almost 11 years later, which is crazy to even think about that, something that initially started as, something that I just need to make a quick paycheck to, my full-time thing, and, starting a business around it and everything has been really, really fun. So
yeah. So when you're like working in Chipotle and then like now you're doing this 11 years, what are the pieces that you think are so essential to become a business owner and to maintain that for over a decade?
Well, I learned a lot at Chipotle actually. Not cooking skills, yes, because I was a grill guy whenever I first started off there. So I learned a lot of knife skills and stuff, but that actually didn't really correlate too much into Cutco, surprisingly enough. But a lot of just showing up early, discipline. I was the one that was unloading the stocking truck, packing the freezers, I was taking inventory, I was doing all of those things, right? So that translated into Cutco because it's just discipline, being there every day, putting the time into your business, not just in the business, but on the business as well. I think that's something that is really important to learn, trying to find that balance, which is hard sometimes, as business owners, whenever you're especially growing your business, grinding so much and really trying to build something, right? From scratch, right?
100%. And so, you are really you have the administrative side of business that needs to be taken care of. Like you said, working on and working in the business are two totally different things. And so what part has helped you the most as far as sales? Because that is a unique trade that, not everybody has. And even if you think that you're in sales, it can be very difficult to maintain that on a regular basis.
That's a really good question. I believe for me, it's been figuring out how I sell best. I think that's one interesting part about business is there's more than one way to do it, right? And that's why so many different personalities and people can be successful in it, right? And I think that's what's so cool. You just have to find the thing that you are passionate about selling and want to invest your time into, right? And yeah, so that's been a big part of it. And using my strengths, right? I can't do everything. I'm not perfect by any means, right? And that's okay. I'm going to mess up and make mistakes, but it's about learning and just, adjusting and not making those in the future. Right. So, yeah. And then that's compounded over 10 years. It's hard not to get somewhere at that point. Right. A lot of it is just perseverance and sticking with it, and not being willing to give up. Right.
So what are some of the things that you have learned from failing?
Oh, good question.
That is a really good question. Don't fail. No.
Don't like it.
No. Man, let's see. Well, from failing, like well, I mean, it's little things, honestly. Mostly it's like a big one recently has been just sticking to a calendar, right? For me. Like I even use Chat GPT. I'd like put in all of every task that I have to do, like both personally, professionally, like I wanted everything in there. And then I wanted it all time blocked out. And then I went in and put it all in my iCalendar. And so now all I have to do is just check and plug and play. Mm-hmm. Right. And so that has actually recently been super helpful for me. Because it takes a lot of the decision fatigue of like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing next? Or like, an order of operations of the next thing that you're supposed to be doing or something. It's all going to get done in the week. You just have to do what you're supposed to do right now. Right.
Just mark off each task, each one step at a time.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. And and that's one thing I learned at Chipotle too, is like that we always said is keep it simple. Like don't overcomplicate it, because the simpler you can make it, the easier it is for you to accomplish it. Right. I mean, whenever I first started getting into running and doing some of that stuff, because, which we can talk about some of that too, if you want, but, I do ultra distance running. Right. And so my goal this year is to run 100 miles in 24 hours in Huntsville, Texas, at the Rocky Raccoon 100-mile race. Yeah. And so I try to make it easy as possible for me to go get out the door and go running. Right. And sometimes I have to negotiate with myself of, all right, just put your shoes on today. Right. Because I really don't want like running 10 to 20 miles a day. Sometimes like that's time consuming, and it's exhausting. Right. So, yeah, you have to and I've learned that from other podcasts and business owners and mentors and stuff of like, you just make it as simple as possible for you to get started, and then the momentum builds. Right. And I'm that type of person where as long as I get started, the ball rolls, and then I'm like, all right, well, I got the first phone call done. Whether I booked an appointment or not, like that motivates me to make another one. Right. And then another, and then another. And then before you know it, you're making 50 phone calls, right? Or however many you're supposed to make.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, that's been a really big lesson for me, honestly.
So whenever you do have those moments of like just growth, so those come with good things and bad things. Like, what are the things that you do on the hard days or when you don't want to get up? Like, besides just determination, like what are things that you've implemented into your life to stay inspired to keep going?
Well, I have accountability systems set up around me is really helpful. Personally, I've learned that if you put me in a room by myself, I'm probably not going to get much done. I'm going to find other things to do to keep myself busy than the things I'm probably supposed to be doing. Right. And I'm really bad about that. So, I mean, my girlfriend is a huge help for things like that. Like, and she doesn't probably even know it, but just being around of like, oh, hey, because it's someone that I want to provide for, and, things like that. So yeah, that is a huge inspiration. I'm sure I don't have kids yet, but I'm sure kids kind of supply that for a lot of people. Like, and I hear a lot of people talk about, act like your kids were in the room, and, I don't have, like I said, kids yet, but I try to emulate that as much as I can of like my
what kind of
future
example
kid.
You would want to be.
Exactly. Because if you start doing the habits now, I mean, monkey see, monkey do. Those are the types of habits that your kids are going to have, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's a big reason why I started running, and things like that as well. It's just thinking about the habits that you want your kids and things to have as well. So, just thinking more big picture, I guess. So
yeah, that's great. And so, I mean, AI is really it is constantly innovating. And like you said, ChatGPT is like one thing that I'm noticing a lot more people are like kind of figuring it out. But so you are using it for time blocking. That's incredible.
I mean, I use it for everything, honestly. Yeah. It is so useful. I use it for as much stuff as I can. Yeah. And I even just play around with it sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like I actually just took a real estate class randomly Club Wealth. I'm not even a realtor, but I sat through the class and everything. And he actually had this really cool prompt, which I thought was interesting. I don't remember it specifically. I could pull it up on my chat GPT. Excuse me. And what it prompted the chat GPT to ask you 25 questions about your life, your goals, your business and everything. And so it can really get to know you more and start giving you better answers and understanding you more, right? And then also I follow ChatGPT on like Instagram and things, and they give amazing tips on there too. So like you can go into your settings and ask it and like set your ChatGPT to do certain things and respond in a certain way. So but that's a big complaint for a lot of people is like their chat GPT is too
like them.
it doesn't sound like them, and it's too it just agrees with everything. Like they're like, oh, it's just, oh, that's a great idea. It's like, that's not, no, that's not a, that's a bad idea. Like, or and it's like just always thinks that really builds you up, right? Which is great. But you can ask it to be a little bit more cynical, right? You can ask it to push back on your ideas more, right? And you can ask it to do those things, and it does, right? And so that's I found to be super helpful for those that don't know that you can do that. Yeah. So you can kind of customize it to better fit your needs, which is very amazing.
After you put in your 25, like answer the 25 things, did you ask it to tell you who you were?
No, I haven't asked it.
I did it. It's really cool.
Is it? Yeah.
I was like, wow, you really know me. Well, and then it says, what else do you want me to know besides this? Like it says, did I get this right? And then you're like, yeah. And then it says, well, what else do you want me to know? And then you can kind of let it know more of the psychology of you, like, yes, I am a hard worker and yes, I am a perfectionist, but sometimes on the inside, like I'm struggling, kind of thing. And it was like, oh yeah. So, some days are hard, and it like kind of answers back and you're like, yes, not every day's easy.
That's so funny. No, I need to ask it that.
I feel like I should, pay it like a therapist or something.
And even just as an entrepreneur, like it can be such a lonely business.
Yes.
And like if and so if you are by yourself or you don't have the girlfriend or you don't have that business partner that you're working with, like having AI is like you are getting outside of your own head and like you can have that accountability system inside of there as well. Like, so I'm not leaning into it as like the only thing, but that is something is like, I'm thinking this, what feedback would the population provider, something like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So time blocking, accountability, and then also just like dealing with people every single day. Like that, I mean, those are really challenging for a lot of people. And so I noticed on socials that you do coaching. Is that right?
Yeah, I do a little bit of mentoring with like some of the newer Cutco reps and stuff. This past summer, I was actually the sales manager for our College Station office, which is the office that I started in. I'm still really good friends with the district manager over there, Cody. He's also a professor at Blinn, so he's got his MBA and stuff. So he teaches over there. So yeah, he's super cool. I love being able to give back and just teach kids, and it was cool to like see them like get results, and like actually get surprised, like, oh my God, this works. Like, yeah, I know. Like, I promise this is something you can do. Like, yeah. So it's really awesome.
So
it's super rewarding.
Are you taking like the things that you just kind of mentioned to us briefly, like the time blocking and accountability and things like that, and basically passing it down the line? Like, those are the things that you're helping them with?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. So who inspired you the most to implement those things?
Oh man. Couple different people. So I've had mentors as well, both paid and unpaid. A couple of them. One, John Israel, is a really big mentor of mine. We worked together for several years. He is an old Cutco rep as well, but he lives up in Dallas from San Diego. He runs the what's called the Mr. Thank You Project. So he wrote 5 thank you letters a day for a full year, and then wrote a book about it, which is a super great book. Yeah, and he's a super awesome guy. And yeah, it was really great getting to learn personally from him.
So is that similar to the concept of like ninja selling? Or do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
So it's basically like principles, and I'm not going to get them all wrong or get them all right. My like CB&A, they're going to hurt me. But those are things that we do like on our team is like you wake up and you like are like sending a 2-minute text message or like gratitude and like affirming what you're going to do for the day. But the ninja selling cards are basically it's like sending 2 cards every day or 10 a week to the people and just giving them something beyond like your sales pitch. It's just like maybe how they impacted you or how they helped you. So it just kind of reminded me of that.
I think something very similar. I don't know if he got that idea from that or anything. Because he in Cutco, he also worked with a lot of very closely with a lot of realtors. So I don't know. That's very totally
They,
possible.
they're brothers.
Yeah. And so yeah. But anyways, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question, I guess.
I think we just all like it's really interesting that we don't invent the wheel. Like it's just like we're taking little pieces from other people on such a regular basis.
Yeah, like all the best sales people that I know and entrepreneurs I know are the best thieves, figuratively, right?
Yeah.
Right. They're stealing ideas and traits and things that other people are doing and phrases and stuff and all the time,
Kind of making their own recipe.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
"Let's add a little of this and a little of that."
exactly, and then kind of put their own personality into it and make it their own, right?
100%. And so, what are the things that you've noticed that have morphed in the over a decade of you doing this, like in sales or just entrepreneurship, of the way things were versus where things are headed today?
I think things are headed in a positive direction. I mean, I listened to the OpenAI CEO. I don't remember his name off the top of my head on a podcast, and he was really interesting. And he was talking about like we believe like the person who is going to start a $1 billion company and be able to run it solely off of AI has already been born, which is just crazy to think about. Um, so it's really interesting, but as things go more digital, I think that makes the human interactions that much more valuable, right? And that's kind of where I come in, and my business kind of comes into play of like keeping the human relationship, right? Because yeah, that's never going to go away, right? We are relationship beings, like we are community, like we are people, like we are primates, right? So
We need that connection.
yeah, absolutely. Otherwise we'll go crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they make sci-fi movies about that all the time, right? And really freaks out a lot of people. So, but it's a real concern, But yeah, that's why my business is so valuable, is because like, it's really important to show appreciation. Like I think the real statistic is like 68% of customers leave a business or a product or service because of a feeling of indifference by that business or a person inside that business, which is just crazy to think about. Like 68% of clients leave because they just feel like they're another number, That's kind of sad.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a really high statistic for real estate is like, you could have bought a house with me 5 years ago, but if you were going to go resell that house, like the statistics of like working together again is quite low.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, it's not just the one time transaction, like it's the maintaining a relationship with someone beyond the sale.
Yeah. I think Business Insider said like you can increase your profitability in business by 49% by just keeping your clients as your clients. Like by 40, like you can make 49% more by just keeping your clients from going somewhere else.
Yeah.
What do you think are the keys like to maintain such a positive environment for like your past clients and your like database?
Um, so things that I like to do, I mean, I've handwritten thank you cards periodically, when people place, orders and stuff. Also just like different times of the year, send out like gratitude messages, like text, video messages, things like that. I'll do some voice drops sometimes where, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, like, Bomb Bomb, they do like, it'll look like someone called you, but it just shows up as a voice drop in their or voicemail in their phone.
Do you use BombBomb?
I have not yet, but I have downloaded the app and everything, and I know other Cutco reps do, and they get great results from it. So it is on my list of things to do, and try out and see what the response rate is. But I hear great things.
Yeah.
Do y'all use it?
No, but I know a lot of people that do, and same thing, like similar feedback.
Yeah. And this is something that we're teaching at Cutco is like the video messages, like the voice drops, the voicemails, like those types of things get opened way more and get response. Way more than your typical text, email, stuff like that. Those things are still important. Um, but yeah, there's not, people are trying to like shying away from that because they just get bombarded with so many emails. I mean, I'm sure y'all feel the same
Wouldn't
way.
even
You get
text
like a
like
hundred.
all day. I get
You
texts
know,
from people I don't even know.
yeah, 100%. And it's like delete, report, junk.
Yeah.
I have no idea who you are. But I do think right now that emails, like it's, or no matter what marketing material, it's like what exactly you're saying. So, like the just listed, just sold, or like even just a typical open house price improvement, like those are not, it's just saturated in the market, just like it is on social media.
Mhm.
Like social media, like the word that I just want to share with everybody is like if you're in a business and you want to like do something in social media, consistency. Like you can't post something and it get like a lot of engagement and then just drop off and don't say anything for 3 months.
Mhm.
Like if you want that to be a part of your business model, it needs to stay consistent and whatever consistency looks like for you.
And do y'all follow Gary Vaynerchuk? Do y'all know who
No,
that is?
no.
No, y'all should on social media. He's amazing. But he had a great perspective about this that really inspired me to post more on social media and care less about like how many likes and views and stuff like that I was getting. Because he's like, if you make a post on social media, you get 10 likes or even 5 likes. Like that's like you standing up in front of a boardroom of people and giving out a pitch, right? Or building that relationship, right? Or if you get 20 likes or 40 likes, that's like you standing in front of a classroom of people. If you're getting 100 likes, that's you standing in front of an auditorium. If you're getting 1,000 likes, like that's an even bigger auditorium. Like that's almost a stadium, right? So like perspective. It's all about perspective. And I was like, I don't. Okay, so what if I'm only getting 10 video views on my like demo videos or whatever on whenever I'm talking to social media and trying to build a business, like that's 10 more people that didn't see it before, right? Or got more value than that didn't, right? So it's all about perspective.
Hmm.
And the
Absolutely.
consistency, and then the consistency is what ends up growing it, and from those tens to hundreds to thousands, right? And where you're
Yeah.
really getting the views, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can imagine just even social media is like a big, that I know that that's been a big thing since you've been starting in sales and all of that is like even having that platform, like, over a decade ago, I don't think that that was really I mean, it was there, but that wasn't the model of delivering your
For sure.
message.
Yeah, absolutely. And and 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, like I wasn't personally ready to really get in front of a camera, right? And I wasn't confident enough in like my own, I guess, knowledge and skill level to get out and be like, hey, no, I actually do have something to give, right? Like I do have something to say, and people will get value from it, right? So a lot of it was just getting out of my own way, right? And I was even off social media. Took a hiatus for like 2 years,
Oh wow.
almost a full 2 years, like completely deleted everything. And so whenever at the beginning of this year, I just got back on, because I was sitting in a social media class that I sponsored, and I was like, you know what? I need to, what am I waiting? Like I'm missing out on so much. Like I was like, oh, you're really kicking yourself, man. So I got back on, and then yeah, and then I started adding a bunch of people I knew, and it's kind of just grown from there. And then I just started posting videos more consistently. I'm not the best yet at it. I still need to get better at like having a full social media day and actually recording content and then planning out the posting. But
You just need to tell ChatGPT, hey, add this to my calendar.
yeah, well, it is in my calendar, but I just need to
Skip over that one.
I need to get faster. I don't record as much as I need to in that period of time. So it's I need to get better and faster at recording, I guess, and doing all that. But that's a skill. That's another skill that I'm learning. So it is getting faster. It's just a process, right? So, yeah.
So, I mean, it just sounds like you really surround yourself with like inspiration, motivation, a positive mindset. Like that's the kind of things that you're ingesting, like as far as podcast music, probably the people that you hang around with. And so I noted on your social media that you're sharing your goals. So I want to ask you about that, but also like I've heard conflicting things. One being Share out to everybody that you know your goals so they know what you're looking for in comparison to like write it down, keep it to yourself. I want to dive into that, like, and what your feedback is.
Well, I've done both. I mean, I have my goals written on my window, or not my window, window, silly, my mirror at home, so that way I can see them every day. Um, and I do not have a vision board. I'm not opposed to vision boards. I think those are great as well. Just, yeah, see, just somewhere, something where you can see your goals every single day, I think is really valuable. Um, but this is a new thing that I'm trying of like talking about it and like just putting it out and more into the universe, and just kind of seeing what happens, right? It's almost like I want to take people along the journey with me, if that makes sense, right? So it's like, come along for the ride. Hey, I'm going to try to do this
Yeah.
crazy stuff, um, and see if we can make it happen. Who knows, right?
Have you
Uh,
noticed anything so far?
I have actually. So like I get like people come, not just on social media, but in person. Like whenever I see people, they're like, "Oh man, I saw your videos. Like that's super inspirational." I was like, "I love it." It's like, okay, cool. Well, I'll keep doing them then, I guess.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, we'll see how they go. Yeah, I try to set big goals for myself. And also, it's another layer to the accountability too, is like it holds me accountable of like, okay, now I
Put it out
said,
there.
yeah, I said I was going to do something. Now I have to follow through, right? And so that was also why I did it. So it's a few different layers to that, I guess. So, but yeah, that's kind of my whole philosophy around it. And then I do try to stay super positive. I think that's one of my strengths is like I'm just a pretty easygoing person. So like things just kind of, I just, all right, cool. That happened. All right. We'll just pivot and we'll go over here. Right. It is what it is type thing.
Yeah. And I mean, we won't go all the way down the rabbit hole, but I mean, I think like when we got here today, like it was the first time like our team's like been here to like connect with someone. And it's just like the world is so heavy right now. Like it is so crazy. Like it's sad. And there's just so much like things that you wouldn't have expected, like all of a sudden just like flipped a switch like for the world today. And so like how are you like maintaining like positivity when like everyone around you is like not where they were last week?
That's a really good question because I mean, I followed Charlie Kirk on social media a lot, and then not just that, but the Denver school shooting as well. I know some people that live in Evergreen, so like that's just super scary. And they have kids up there, so like that's just crazy. And and it's a fine balance to keep of like, yes, you have to be empathic, right? And like feel, yeah, it sucks, right? But it's also like at the end of the day, it's the world. Crazy things happen all the time, um, constantly. Fortunately, we're not, social media just makes it more prevalent and
Right.
just in our face, right? Um, Especially for those big tragic events that even get recorded, which is just horrible, that that is even a thing for people to even see, right? And,
Hmm.
if you think about it
Even
back,
if you didn't want to, like you saw it.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like I think we were talking to my girlfriend's friend last night, and she was like, "Yeah, I was just scrolling through social media, and I didn't want to see it, and it
Hmm.
was just there." And I was like, "Oh,
And
yeah,
you can't unsee it,
yeah,
like once it's there, it's there.
yeah." And stuff like that just gets ingrained in your brain,
Right.
and that never leaves. And um, so yeah, it's tough for sure. Um, but at the end of the day, yeah, just, it is what it is. Life kind of unfortunately just moves on, right? Um,
It's just so
it's
the way that the world is like is when things like that happen, no matter what it is, it'll be overlapped in something else by next week. It'll be something else of like, and so it's an emotional roller coaster, which is bananas to me is like how a technical or a little device in your hand can change your world and your perspective.
Mhm.
And then it like tell feathers to like everything else in your life and how that is so different than when I was a kid or when we
Hmm.
all were kids. It's just like this thing in your hand can be a meter of who you show up to be in the world.
For sure. And gratitude is the attitude, it's like whenever things get tough, like it's nothing like just I mean, writing, you can write it down. You can say it to yourself, 3 things that you're grateful for,
Yeah.
and that can really help change your perspective. And that's something I learned a long time ago from Tony Robbins.
Mm-hmm.
He's,
Yep.
I love him. Like he's the master. He's the best. So, yeah, I think that's the way to go for sure.
And so you learned that like sharing gratitude, and I totally am in alignment with that. And so like, but have you noticed over time is like it becomes redundant, even though it's a positive practice, is like that you have to keep building on top of that positivity model to like keep going.
For sure. And I do challenge myself to find new things to be grateful for, right? Because it's
Right.
like, it is, gets repetitive. Like, oh, yeah, I'm grateful for my health. Like, right. Or, yeah. So, trying to find new things to be grateful for. Right? Like, for instance, this was something that happened to me personally when I got the phone call that my best friend from college died back in 2018, 2019, from cancer. Um, that was terrible. Like I obviously immediately started crying. Um, and but it was this weird, overwhelming feeling because of the learnings that I've had from Tony Robbins. He was like, you got to be grateful for the time that you had with him.
Right.
Right. And even though it was a tragic event, like, hey, I'm grateful I even got to know the guy. Right. And I got to hang out with him. Right. Even it was a short period of time. That's probably why he got taken so soon. Right. And usually the best people, that's the old
Right.
saying, the good die young. Right. Um, yeah. So that's kind of the perspective I try to keep on it too. And those like really heavy moments of like, how can I be grateful even though, right, and challenge myself to be.
I just like, I feel like beyond what we were talking about earlier, but it's just like, I feel like just personally, just to lay it all out there, like, I feel like I'm being tested on a regular basis not to lose my marbles and like on someone else. And I really truly feel that way. It's just like, I try to implement all these positive things in my life and practice, but it's like, not today tested. And so it really is, it is quite a perplexing way to feel,
Well, for sure. I mean, that's just God testing you to see how bad you want to hit your goals. That's how all I can say
It's
about
like,
that.
not today, Satan, not today,
Man.
Satan. So real quick, I want to go back to, because running 100 miles, I can't get over it. Can we?
I know.
Most people can't. It's okay.
I'm thinking to run 100 miles, like you have to constantly be positive the entire time talking to yourself. Like what does that even look like? Like, how do you even do that?
So one thing that I found that's really interesting with running is no matter how far you're running, you're always going to have peaks and valleys. So like even if I'm running 100 yards, if I'm sprinting 100 yards, like there's moments through that 100 yards where I'm like, "Oh, God, is this
Can't do
not
this.
this
Yeah.
is I'm not done yet. Like this is so far. Like what am I doing?" But then you're like, well, I'm almost there now, so I can't give up. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm so out of breath, right? And then you get there. It's the same thing for 100 miles, right? So you have
Wow.
peaks and valleys where, oh my God, this is freaking miserable. And yes, it might only be a mile. When you're doing that for 100 miles, it might be 10 miles when you feel that way, right? And so that is really tough because that can be a couple hours sometimes, depending on how
Right.
fast you're going. So yeah, that's when it gets really, really tough. So I learned this from another ultra Ironman guy. His name is James Lawrence. He's known as the Iron Cowboy. He did 100 triathlons in 100 days. Like,
What?
yeah, yeah, like full,
Like in a row?
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I did 50 like full length triathlons in all 50 states in 50 days, which is incredible. And then the next year he did 100 in 100 days. He's a
word.
wild. Like there's people out there who do that.
Mental.
Yeah.
More mental even than physical. I
It
think.
is.
I mean, there's just no way.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
so his thing was you got to have a bag full of lies. You can't have like whenever you're in doing something that big, like you can't have just one reason why you're doing it, right? You got to have what you said, a bag full. Like, and different things are gonna work in different moments. Sometimes you think about your family, sometimes you think about, a specific friend or relationship or person, or sometimes it's different things that
Mhm.
work, right? For different people.
And I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. It's just like, whatever the thing is, whatever the bag of things is like, once you accomplish it, like, do you feel like there's a challenge of the defining the what's next?
That is part of the challenge, yes. And I honestly have not gotten that far of like what's next. Um, but I felt that same way whenever I first started running. What actually inspired me to start running, excuse me, is watching my best friend go through chemo and everything like that. That whole experience, I was actually almost 250 pounds at one point, at that point in my life. Um, and that was only 2017, I think, 2018 when that was happening. And I ran the Woodlands Marathon was my very first one. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with David Goggins at all. So I was also listening to a lot of him at that point. And yeah, and just watching my friend go through that, I was like, here I am, perfectly healthy. Here he is, like, can't hardly walk himself to the bathroom. And I'm just taking advantage of it. Right. And so I was like, what's something really difficult that I hate doing that I can push myself to go do and accomplish? I was like, oh, I'll go run a marathon. Right. Because I've never been a distance runner. I've despised running my entire life. Like I played baseball growing up, which is like short sprints. And then I played golf in high school. So it's like, I went from sprinting short distances to walking. I went the other direction. So yeah, that was just my thing. And so yeah, that was that. And once I crossed that finish line of pushing through the marathon, like I say all the time, like if I would have cried if I wouldn't have been so dehydrated. Because like I was so overwhelmed with so many emotions. Like it was just like, whoa, this is why people do this. Like, and at that point, that was like the hardest thing I'd ever accomplished, right? So I was like, well, if I can do this, like what's next? Like what can I do now? Right. So then I was like, trying to come up with other crazy stuff. And I'd heard about people doing 100 miles. Like, well, I don't know if I'll ever do that. But it slowly just graduated into, well, let me run a marathon in every city in Texas in 1 year. Right. And so I tried to accomplish that. I ran 3 in 3 months. I ran San Antonio, Houston, and then Austin, December, January, and February. Dallas and Fort Worth Fort Worth was in March, but after Austin, I got really sick. And so I didn't do the Fort Worth one. And Dallas is also in December. And so I wasn't going to do 2 in a month. I wasn't that well trained into running yet. So I was like just cautious of injury and stuff. So, but yeah. And then once I've accomplished that, I was like, okay, well, what's next cool and exciting? I did my first ultra marathon was the Fort Worth Cowtown Marathon. That was what was that, 50K? So that's 32 miles.
Wow.
And yeah, I was like, oh, well, that actually wasn't totally terrible. Like, and so I was like, okay, well, what's next? And so, yeah, I looked up the Rocky Raccoon 100 miles. Like, oh, that's super close to home, too. It's fairly flat course. Huntsville is a little bit rolling hills. At least compared to Houston, it's it's like climbing mountains sometimes. But yeah, and so this is actually going to be my third attempt to try to do it. The first year I did 70 miles in 22 hours and I tapped out because I was just going too slow. I was probably going to get cut off, and I was like, I'm not going to make myself keep suffering if I'm just going to not make the cutoff time anyways. So I gave up on that one. And then last year I tried it and I got super sick after 40 miles. I started throwing up and stuff. So I think I took in too many electrolytes, which is actually a thing. You can have too many in your body, apparently. So
there's a lot of preparing and making sure.
Well, that's something that people don't really think about with the ultra marathons. With any sort of distance running, there's a lot of nutrition that goes into it. But the ultra running, like you're sustaining yourself for 24 plus hours, on foot. So it's pretty crazy. Any break that you take, like the clock keeps ticking, right? So the cutoff is 32 hours for 100 miles in Huntsville. So yeah.
And so I've heard with people who run marathons, sometimes they have people who will come and run certain miles with them, like kind of accountability and encouragement. So is it similar with this as well? You have people along the way that come and keep you going? And
I sure do. Yes. Shout out to my crew. They're amazing. Yeah. My mom, her boyfriend, my sister comes out and runs. I do get a pacer after 50 miles. So if anybody wants to come run with me, you can come run in the dark. It's super fun. Put on headlamps. It's like crazy adventure. You're just running through the woods.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So one of my kids decided to do cross country. And they were talking about like, oh, well, Saturday practice. And then like parents have to run with them. And I was like, I'm not running with you. I don't know what you're thinking. But like I said, like I feel like I'm being pressured. Then you come along and you're like, keep going. And I'm like, maybe I should run with her. Maybe that's God's sign. I need to be running.
It's a sign. See, there you go.
Yeah. The weather was really nice. Like when I lived a summer in the Pacific Palisades in California, and I went and ran on the beach like every day. It was just so gorgeous and beautiful.
Yeah.
But here it's like I can't even walk to my car with like feeling like I'm going to pass out. It's so hot. So how do you even train for that in this kind of heat?
Sauna?
Pretty much. I mean, it's terrible. You try to go as early as you can to get it out of the way, or
but when you're going for
just don't go
hours at a time.
True.
To run at night.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, it gets really hot. You have to stay. Keep things. I mean, that is a real thing, like overheating and stuff. So, ice run with the ice packs on you, stuff like that. You carry a lot of water, obviously, electrolytes, and then
like the Camelback. Okay.
Yeah, I do a Camelback, and then I do Nerds clusters. So that's just like easy, quick carbs.
Really?
Yeah, that's old. That's not an old trick, but that's kind of the ultra runner's trick. I don't personally like the gels. That kind of makes my stomach feel weird. So, yeah, I like the candies and stuff, and the sugar kind of gives you a little bit of a high sometimes. So it's kind of nice to ride that way.
Jolt.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, sugar.
So I'm curious, like whenever you do get it, like especially on long distance like that, like you might have points where you're like, so whenever you get to the point of like, I gotta slow down, are you slowing down and walking or stopping? Like, or is it harder once you stop to go back to that peak moment?
For sure, it is harder once you stop to keep get going again, right? Having that momentum built up, like it is so much easier to keep going. But yes, and a lot of ultra runners do stop and walk. Like that is one part about like ultra running. It's much, much slower pace than marathon running. Marathoners, even though they don't seem like it all the time, like the point is to get done as fast as possible, right? And it still is for ultra running, but not necessarily like it's not as dire, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, it's totally normal for people to take up the full 32 hours to run, the 100 miles, right? And there's people who do that, right? And there's races who allow you to go even longer than that, even over greater distances. Like there's a 250-mile race in Arizona that's 250 from like Phoenix, I think, to it's called the Cocodona 250.
Isn't it like 250 miles to Dallas? Like I'm just curious.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait till we get like our own Texas race like that. I've been waiting for like somebody to put one on of like, not just 100 miles, but like they are making it. I don't know if y'all know this, but they're making a trail all the way, walking, hiking, biking, even horseback riding trail from East Texas all the way to West Texas.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So
you're having to get like all these property owners to agree. Like,
right? Can we get a trail this year?
I don't know how they're pulling it off, but yeah, apparently they're trying to. I saw that that's like an official government thing.
Walk it. I would walk.
It would be fun to like go horseback riding on and stuff like that. Like that's cool.
I love hiking. I love trails, but like to run it
1 month a year.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Most of like Texas's big races, like marathons, ultra races that I have seen, anyways, are in the fall and winter for sure. Yeah, they're not in the summer.
And even then, that's kind of, I mean, we've gone swimming on Christmas before. So, like,
yeah, for sure.
Even then, it's kind of hit or miss if it's going to be warm, you know? So, yeah, I think I'd pick a colder state.
Yes.
Then you got to worry about like altitude and like all those kind of things too, if it's not where you're used to like living.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's so cool. I didn't even know you did all that. Like, and so, I mean, like, it seems like you have a passion for that. And then like, obviously like a passion for your business. How do you balance between work life, like, and the goals that are driving it? Like, how do you do that? I
bring people along for the ride. So like, I take my girlfriend on runs. Unfortunately, she gets drug along. But no, she's super good sport. She does enjoy getting into running. Like, she's gotten into it a little bit. Not she hasn't ran any big races or anything yet, but she does want to. And so yeah, I mean, just getting people involved, inviting people along, and then just carving out the time. So like whenever we rotate between going to see her family and then we'll go see my sister and nieces and stuff on a weekend and just kind of spend a weekend there. I also work a lot of weekends, so it's just about planning it out, like I said before, like I put everything in my schedule. So like I do take that as seriously as I can, whenever I can, as much as I can. So,
And then whenever it does get hard in the work stuff, like you have something as like a really great outlet, like to release it all,
Mhm.
and then get your head back on track.
And it goes through seasons. So like I'm not training all the time for the 100 miles, right? So, as training ramps up, like obviously, like it's just about having conversations with people. It's like, hey, I'm gonna be a little bit more busy doing other things. I can't go do, have beer and go hang out or,
Mhm.
go to the football game or whatever. I'll be able to watch, but it's gonna be pretty limited, right?
Yeah.
So, it's just about having conversations and just being upfront and setting like the right framework
100%.
for people, um and if they're not okay with it, that's on them. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you want me to do about that. Like,
Yeah.
like I have things that I want to do. Like, if you're not supportive of that, then that's not someone I want in my life anyways.
Yeah,
It's like,
and then you start doing the things that you're passionate about and you align with those people in that environment, to not replace, but like if someone's not supportive, you're finding it in the places that you do feel like home.
yeah, for sure. Where one door closes, there's going to be another one that opens.
1000%.
So there's I don't even know how many people are in the US. So
People are,
find your people.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
people in your life are it for a reason or a season.
for sure.
And it has been wonderful chatting with you. Like, we truly hope that you reach all your goals, like,
Oh,
in your life and in your business. So, if there's anybody that is inspired by what you're saying and want to reach out with you, maybe for accountability or just to connect, how can they find you?
Instagram is a great way to connect with me. Kyle A. Rogers 92. Kyle A. Rogers 92. Rogers, like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. People always spell it like Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I don't have anything in my name. I'm sorry. But yeah,
That is great.
I really appreciate y'all having me. This is super fun. Thank y'all.
Yeah, you're so
Super
welcome. Thank
grateful.
you. Thank you. And so, if you want to connect with us, you can find us at texastrioteam.com. Take care and keep living your best life.